Laxmi, and welcome to my channel, Manifest Your Quest. I am a tarot reader, I'm an astrologer, but I'm an intellectual property lawyer turned manifestation and a performance coach. I'm here to tell you and give out some wonderful manifestation techniques. Today, I'm going to give you 5 manifestation techniques. But before that, I want to know, have you all liked, subscribed, and followed my channel? If you have not, then do that right now. And you will see in all the conversations and the interviews that I take and the talks that I do, I give out wonderful secrets on manifestation. If you look out to manifesting your dreams and want to reach out to them faster than you ever thought possible, then do not miss out on my conversations. So I hope you have liked, subscribed, and followed my channel. Today, I have a brilliant guest before me. My guest is Ketan Krishna. So I have a brilliant, wonderful guest before me, and he is Ketan Krishna. He believes and talks about himself as an ordinary guy with an extraordinary dreams. We will definitely get to know more about it, what he actually means by it. But let me tell you a little brief about him. He's an awesome mentor. He's a wonderful coach. He's a speaker. And above all, he has been described as a person with a golden heart. And he believes that people process is equal to progress. So he basically believes in investing in people. Am I right, Ketan?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me here, Rashi. It's so wonderful to hear such amazing things from you. Thank you so much for having me.
And I would like to know, and can you explain to us, he's an author as well. If I missed out, I'm so sorry. He's an author of the book, Ordinary Man with Extraordinary Dreams, right?
Yeah, the book is named, revolves around the same concept. It's called Extraordinary. It's a compilation of life-changing stories or moments that I had experienced till now in the years that I've lived. So yeah, it's a compilation of some very interesting stories and action points that help me move ahead and help me get extraordinary results for myself. So that's the book, Extraordinary.
Wonderful. And Ketan, let me tell you that since we are here on the platform of manifestation, so I'm going to ask you, how did you manifest success for yourself? Firstly, I would like to know, was success given to you on a platter, or was it something that you were able to reach out to it, manifest it for yourself?
First thing, I have a long journey to go still, Rashi. I don't know if I have a point of view saying that have I succeeded or not holistically. But yeah, there have been movements, there have been times where I got results for myself. Now, coming to the point on manifestation, when I look back now, I realized that I have actually been practicing that. Okay, without knowing that what I was doing actually was taking me closer to manifestation. It's a very vast topic, right? Manifestation, somebody like you who has done so much deep work, and your book talks about manifestation. I started to get a glimpse and a sense of what it means, but I understand it's a very, very vast subject. But a lot of things where I got results, and when I look back and I connect the dots, I do realize how powerful manifestation has been. You know, for me, what describes me is that I'm the ordinary guy with extraordinary dreams. Now, that extraordinary dreams part is something translated into manifestation for me, right? And when I say dreams, it was not that I dreamt of too many things and then everything was here and there. Somewhere in my head, I was like, okay, this is the dream. This is what I want to get in my life. I started to think more, visualize it more, focus a lot of energies there. And I started to get results. So that's the role manifestation has played in my life till now. I remember this was 2006, and I just started my career with Aditya Birla Group, fresh out of college, first time ever of my work experience. And during our induction process, we had this expert who was called. And he was talking, now I realized that he was talking about the power of manifestation, the visualization, and pursuing your dreams. But fresh out of college, I was like, what is this? For a science graduate and somebody who's from a good B school, this was like all sounding like, honestly then, nonsensical work. But I participated. I don't think so I had a choice, but I participated and I gave it a try. And I'll tell you the exact incident, what happened. So I have somebody who has a lot of, I've been a petro head. I love automobiles. Cars is something that I'm very, very passionate about. And a dream that I had was to own a Mahindra Classic Jeep. It was out of production. It was not being made, but that was like the vehicle I used to always desire, saying that if there is one car or my first vehicle, it will be this Jeep. But I had no idea what and how and was it even possible. So I tried that. Now, what this person said is that take a picture of what you want, right? And write in present tense saying that I own this particular asset or this is who I am. So I did that. I actually took out the picture of a Jeep that I wanted and I wrote, I own a black Mahindra Classic Jeep. And he told me about how 3 days, almost like medicine, you should just look at that, practice, close your eyes, think about it as if you're owning it, driving it, you actually are experiencing it. I gave it a shot. There's nothing to lose. I gave it a shot. And you won't believe, in a place like Mumbai, 6 months later, I had a black Mahindra Classic Jeep that was parked right in the parking slot that I had in Mumbai. And I'll tell you the challenges and what went through it. One, it was a vehicle that was out of production. Second, Maharashtra had very, very stringent rules about getting vehicles from other states. So I could get few here and there, but it was a painful task. And nobody used to drive a Jeep in Mumbai, right? When you are like dying in traffic, Jeep is the last thing that people would own. But somehow I started to find answers and seek cues which helped me move ahead. One, I went to a market called Kurla Market, which used to be the Jeep manufacturers market, right? And at one point in time, but it was dead. The Jeep was out of production. I convinced a very, very famous Jeep manufacturer, somebody who would actually make Jeeps, modify Jeeps, to make his last Jeep, right? He was about to shut his shop, but I was able to convince him. Now I needed money. I was fresh out of college, getting loan from family was out of question. And getting loan from bank was a painful process because I needed to have 3 years of income tax return. So I just got my PAN done and nobody was going to give me loan. I convinced my elder brother, who was just in job 2 years before I started my career. He took loan for me. All right. So I had money, I had the person. And for 6 months, every weekend, Saturday, Sunday, right, I would actually go and sit in the garage. And I saw that vehicle get done from just plain irons and pieces. And it was assembled, right? I got the chassis from Pune. I got the engine from somewhere else. I got this guy made the body. I went to Kurla Market to procure parts. And literally 6 months later, I had this vehicle parked right in my parking garage. It's a different story that I had to sell it later. But that's when I realized how powerful this entire channelizing of energy and believing that you already have can do. I've tried that for most of my...
Like you manifested, you literally manifested, created it, right?
And I had no idea. I had no idea that this is the process. I just did it. It worked. And I replicated it for many things, but mostly for the vehicles that I own. And I was able to make sure that I was able to fulfill my dreams. I owned 9 vehicles after that. And all of them were like my dream vehicles. I need to get it done. That's the exact same process I tried. And it just worked.
You have owned your first BMW, your favorite vehicle, at the age of 32, right?
That's right.
That's awesome. That's awesome. People and the viewers who are here, it's a dream come true for them. Like everybody today want to do that and they want to know how have you done it? And it's so nice for them that you're giving out the secrets. And
There's no secret, but yeah, this worked. This actually worked. Even for now my buying of the BMW also was, so I had planned this to buy at the around of 30 when I would have reached 35, 36. But what happened is, one of my new vehicles that I bought, that got stolen, and I was suddenly without a vehicle, and I was wondering what to do. Should I buy a replacement? Should I typically go and buy another unit of it? But something struck me. I said, maybe that vehicle is gone because the my dream to own a BMW is coming closer to me. When a vehicle was gone, I was like upset. But I said, maybe it's time for me to upgrade faster. And I actually, again, for 8 months, literally went to the showroom every weekend with my son, with my wife, with my daughter, and test drives and test drives and test drives. And then I actually got the model and the make and the color that I was looking forward to. Again, a lot went into it. A lot went into it. That model was out of production, but I found one single unit of the same color. I chased BMW corporate to ensure that the deal falls in my bucket, and wow, that was done.
wow, that's awesome. That's absolutely brilliant. And now I would like you to give my audience, my viewers, a little background about yourself and how you have given yourself this name as an ordinary guy with extraordinary dreams. And you're talking about BMWs and, manifesting these things, which is actually from ordinary to extraordinary. It is like a dream come true for people who are listening, perhaps. So I would like to know firstly, about a brief about yourself. So for me, he's a mentor, guys. He is a brilliant mentor, and I am like truly indebted to him for all his, whatever he told me and asked me to do throughout the sessions while I was writing my book. It really helped me and pulled me through all those, writer's block period. So I know that his contribution for my book was huge, and I have put in my acknowledgement as that I really acknowledge Ketan Krishna as a brilliant, mentor for my book. And I believe there has been a lot of testimonials on your LinkedIn. I've been going through it, and they were like so amazing ones. So I know that you're a very humble and a very down to earth person. You try to show that you try to be on the ground, but do let us know, because people want to understand how did you grow, and what is it that happened to you, and everything about you.
Rashi, thank you again, and thank you for that mention. While I did my part, and thank you for acknowledging that, but you got results because you took action. And that's a core belief that I have, is between dreams and who we are, action is the only thing that will give us results. So thank you again for that. About me, and where and why do I say I'm the ordinary guy with extraordinary dreams? I come from a very small town. And the two things that I still remember majorly, which was about me. One, I grew up in a place where I had very limited infrastructure or the resources that usually today are available. I've lived life without electricity for months. There were no good schools. Infrastructure was just like ordinary. And I used to think this is what life is all about. I've never been the person who has been excellent at education or any co-curricular activity or sports. I was never in the top 3 or 4 people that everybody would look upon to. I used to, for a large part of my life, be in the crowd clapping for every other person who would get extraordinary results. And for a large part of my life, I accepted it. That's where this point, and I never had talent. So I was never on the stage where the world cheered for me. And I never imagined that this was going to happen for me. That's where the entire experience of ordinary comes. But something that my parents always inspired me and taught me, saying that don't dream small, dream big, keep dreaming. Dreams are something that will take you ahead, it will move you ahead. They've always taught me a lesson, which if I put it in words, it is about your past has nothing to do with your future. What you do today can change what your future is going to offer to you. A lot of us, and including me, I was just dwelling a lot in my past. I come from a very, very small background, ordinary background. I don't have the most awesome of the education. I was not able to speak well. I'm not going to get results for myself. But this fact that our future has nothing to do with our past is something that I've started to believe even more, looking at the kind of things I've been able to get for myself. Now, with that dream and where I was growing up.
So profound that you just mentioned, so profound about the action you said about your parents, what they had to say. Truly wonderful. If you can repeat it for my viewers once again.
Our past has nothing to do with our future. What we do today, what we make a choice to take an action on or take that one step will determine who I become in future. Don't carry this load of your past beyond a particular point. It is only going to slow you down, hold you, limit you. Dream big, go ahead and start moving in that direction. So that's the sum of what they taught me and what I picked up from that, my experience.
And I assume that you have really taken this part and have been moving forward, because this seems to be like a ball of energy, which is actually putting you forward every time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's about hope. It's about future. It's about what more tomorrow, what new tomorrow. So that drives me. Absolutely. So another interesting thing now, when I was growing up, so, kids were sent outside, parents would send them to different better cities to get better education and so on and so forth. I was still there till 10th in my small town. And we only had 3 job options or career options that I've known for. Doctor, engineer, or UPSC.
Absolutely. I belong to very similar kind of approach.
So UPSC was like straight reject for me. Between doctors and engineer, being a doctor or an engineer, somehow doctor made sense to me. I have no reason and I can't tell you why, but it made sense to me. While people say at the core, I'm more of an engineer because I can fix things. But I said, okay, I'm going to be a doctor. I landed up with that dream in Delhi. This was year 1999. Because everybody used to go to Delhi to prepare for MBBS exams. So I took admission in Delhi University and then prepared 1 year for my MBBS entrance exams. I didn't get through any of the colleges. So year 1 gone. And at that time, if I remember, there were about 4 or 5 lakh applicants and some 3,000 seats which were there. If I do a ballpark math, it's less than 1% success rate. In my head, somebody who is ordinary, that was never achievable, but I still gave it a shot. So now I had to make a choice. What do I do next? I said, okay, I'm going to give it another year and I'll continue my education in Delhi University. So I gave it another year. Last paper, when I saw the results, again, this year I was not going to be a doctor. And I started to move towards my PG. And I knew that an uncle of mine was waiting there. And he was not very, very old to me, but somebody who was a MBBS, CBSC rank holder, and who had himself been cracking exams like where there are 1, 2, 3 seats across India. And he would just with such an ease crack those exams. I used to wonder, what does he eat? But I was fortunate that he was there guiding me, mentoring me. So I came back to my PG and he said, so how did it go? Did you clear any of the exams? I said, Chachu, I am not going to be a doctor again. And for 10, 15 minutes, I went into a huge excuse mode. Things like, there's so much competition. How can ordinary people like me ever crack this exams? Even as funny excuses like, there were few questions that were wrong. And I knew nobody gets the question paper out, right? So I can always claim that there were questions itself which were wrong. I complained about infrastructure. I said my invigilator was favoring few other students. I had a whole list of excuses that I kept on pouring. And when I was done, there's one question that he asked. That was like I would say a straight punch to me that kind of shook me and things changed. That was the first moment of massive and major transformation for me. His question was, Ketan, how many seats do you need? I said, 1. He said, why are you bothered about everything outside your circle of influence? which you can do nothing about and not focusing on what you need to get in life. I was like, wow. I still remember that conversation when I'm speaking to you. I am still mentally able to remember that statement that he made. I went back to my PG for a few days. People were asking what happened, what's wrong with you. But I don't know what, but for about 5-7 days, I was just like, something shifted, something changed. I had no idea what. 3 years later, I was the Delhi University North Campus gold medalist. I got through MSc in zoology. I was doing zoology honors that time. Win top 4-5 universities of India purely on merit. That's the kind of score that I got. And I changed my line. I decided to change my line. I decided to pursue MBA, and I landed up with one of the best B schools in India. Not that my talents changed, not that my competency shifted, but something in my head shifted. That focus started to give me results.
Mindset shift.
Mindset shift. And this is how I would term what this means to me. I changed. The way I started to look at the world changed. So did my results. This is exactly what happened for me, right? And I've been fortunate for the last 15 years. World has been kind. I've been able to, I had failures, but I've been able to get a lot of things and a lot of results which I had never imagined would ever happen in my life. There was a second movement where after 10 years of a phenomenal career, I lost my job. I went through a major personal shift in those 4-5 months where I didn't get a job. I'll talk about that later if we have time. But and about 2 years back, I went through another process of coaching, and I identified few of the blockages that I had. That was, I would say, a very, very significant transformation point for me. Now, today, when I speak to you, and you are also one of those people who is in the authors club. Now, authors are people who are in the 2% of the world population. For somebody like me who had no talent, who used to think who had no talent, no visible talent, did not get too many extraordinary results earlier. Now, when I'm in the 2% of the world population and I've fulfilled some of the dreams that I've been chasing for, it feels awesome. It feels amazing, right? And my dreams, I believe, have helped me stay focused and move in the direction that I want. So that's where this ordinary guy started to get extraordinary results. And that's kind of brings, it ties it well, saying that, yeah, that's what who I am, Rashi.
Wow. It's simply an amazing story. And like my mentor has to say, you rock. Ketan, you rock. Absolutely. That's awesome. And
thank you.
I think you have really inspired a lot of my viewers, and I'm really looking forward to some comments on that. And now, going on a lighter note, tell me, what is it? How do you describe yourself? Like, how will you describe yourself? As I mentioned, as I ask all my, interviewer, all the people whom I interview, how do you describe yourself in a song or a quote? How would you say? Do you sing? Would you like to sing?
I don't sing, and I don't want to do that. You will start losing some of the viewers, Rashi. That's something I can tell you for a fact. But yeah, a song that somehow connects with me is this song from movie Rang De Basanti. It's called Rubaru. I think for me, it's that movement of reflection and then coming out and emerging at something different, right?
Like coming face to face with yourself, the real self, isn't it?
Real self, and it just takes you into a different zone, and you're like, wow, it's always been there. This is me, the new me, the more about me. So before every event that I do, before every session that I do, that's one song that I definitely listen to. It just moves me, transcends me into a very, very different zone. There's another song from a movie called from Rocky Balboa. It's called The Eye of a Tiger. So somewhere these are kind of my two siblings who are always there with me, which will hold me, push me, inspire me to go ahead and be unstoppable. So these are the two songs I connect a lot to, and I'm keeping aside the romantic songs of that I of course listen a lot to. How I would describe or put it together, again, I think the point is, I would say two. One, you have already said, ordinary by birth is a chance. Living ordinary is a choice. And we all have to make that choice, right? So that's one that describes me well. Second, which I said, I'll repeat that. I changed. The way I started to look at the world changed. So did my result. I think these two kind of set the foundation of who I am.
This particular quote, I should put it down, and because very profound and so meaningful what you have just put in. So, and it is really wonderful talking to you, very inspiring all the time. Whenever I've spoken to you, Ketan, it has been so wonderful. Even today, I'm sure my viewers have some wonderful takeaways to take from here. And as you have mentioned, your the moment that actually sparked something very different was that moment you had with your chachu, right?
Absolutely. That was one of them.
Would you like to share some other moment which would actually give some kind of idea to my viewers? What are these moments? What are these breakthroughs? And what are these transformational moments which they might have gone through, but never, they have never been able to maybe perhaps, realize it, but how powerful it was. So would you like to, as a coach here?
So I'll talk about a formal process that I went through. And this was, when I suddenly had kind of a windfall gain and some money came with me. And one thing I was clear that I wanted to spend on doing something for myself. And exactly in 24 hours, I bumped into a program which was about a coaching certification. And I had no idea. For me, a coach was only related to sports till then. But somebody that I looked upon to recommend it, and I straight went ahead and signed up for the program. And 48 hours later, I was doing this program. This was about life coaching. A lot of, I think those 3 days were the most powerful moment of my experience. There's a part where this coach of mine, he took me through a process of identifying my life purpose. Prior to this, again, I had no idea and belief saying that these things could drive. These are the guiding lights that people have. But when I went through the process, when I identified my life purpose, and this is how it reads: I am the source of positive energy that makes life beautiful. Right? When I wrote it down, I had some moments of connect. But when I started to reflect back to what has given me a lot of fulfillment, a lot of joy, a lot of excitement, a lot of energy, and what I do today, when I look at those, this is like the single version of truth that I've identified for myself. My purpose is to pass on energy, to how can I look at movement and opportunities of how do I make others' life beautiful. I remember our conversation, we had not known each other, but it came through a common group. Something struck, right? I thought, can I be that person who can share some energy and help you move ahead in your life? Because I could sense that you wanted that for yourself, right? And you had to get that book done. And somewhere this purpose drove me, and the conversation ended to a point where we agreed on something, and then you were able to take brilliant action on that, and you got what you wanted. More than you, I think I felt good because I was able to add value to somebody's life, right? So that was a very, very profound moment. And every time when I know my energy is at a peak, something around this is what I'm doing. If I'm adding value, if I'm making somebody's life beautiful, if I'm able to take my energy and use it for something better, bigger, that is like the movement, the eureka movement, or the flow movement, or my ikigai, whatever you call. That's what drives me, Raj.
Beautiful. It's awesome listening to you, Ketan. You're such a brilliant speaker that it's actually wonderful just sitting back and listening to your, such wonderful, motivating, inspiring words. It's awesome. And next thing that I would ask you is, or you have already spoken about motivation, manifestation and motivation. But what is that thing that actually, keeps you going all the time? Maybe it is a repetition, but there is one thing which you feel is like keeps you going all the time.
Dreams, because my dreams inspire me. If I was having a conversation with somebody and this point came in, he asked me, what inspires you? My first response was my dreams. And they have inspired me. They continue to inspire me. I know they will continue to inspire me, because that gives me a direction and a sense of a purpose and a force from within, saying that I'm going to give it a shot. Will it happen? I don't know. And beyond a point, I'm not saying that all of us will start to get everything that we want in life. But chasing that dream, getting up in the morning and saying that, am I moving in that direction? Is there something which is bigger than just living a life biologically? Is there something more? So my dreams inspire me. That's the core of what and I have a lot of them. I think at least the good part is that my dreams, what happens is, when we grow up, our social condition stops or inhibits us to start to continue dreaming. I'm so glad that child in me is still alive. I dream a lot. I aspire. I would just go crazy behind something, and I'll find out ways and means to just get that done. It could be as small as say buying a headphone.
So how do you reinvent? Like, how do you find ways and means to reach out to that dreams?
I think I'll go back to the visualization and the manifestation, because I think so much about them that there's nothing else that I see, right? And then I love that statement from the movie from Shah Rukh Khan, saying that what is that? Shiddat se chaho. Sorry, just 1 second. So sorry for that. I don't know मैं उसका exact verbatim नहीं बोल पाता.
किसी चीज को अगर शिद्दत से चाहो तो वो
पूरी कायनात भी
right.
मैं उससे मिलाने की कोशिश करती. It's so true. It's so true. Just focus, be there, look at that, and I'm somebody who like just gets.
And tell me, what about if you are like on your way ahead, if you are thrown with unprecedented scenarios, like there are many times you feel that this is not what I actually expected. This is all of a sudden. So how do you overcome all that? Like, what is your thought process of a solution to these problems that come up? How do you take it up?
So there are two parts to this. The first one I would say, and this is not something I knew when I was growing up, but when I look back and look at those moments where life threw a very, very different challenge at me, I think the first and the most important is accepting things that we can't change. There is this famous saying, and in a book called Ikigai, which says, accept what you can't change, have the courage to change what must, and the wisdom to differentiate between these two. Profound, powerful, absolutely fantastic. And this is how I've translated it to. Most of the time, we spend energies in changing things which are beyond our circle of control. And I have a saying that if we spend 1% of the time that we otherwise spend in changing the world on ourselves, our lives would change. It just happens. So that's the first part, on accepting what is there. Don't fight the reality. Accept it, embrace it. Acceptance is the first step to any change. Action is the second. All right? So this is where what I tell people and tell myself that, okay, could I have done anything about it? Can I do anything about it? Should I be spending my energy there? No, fine, I'll accept it. Now, once I do that, if it creates a focus to say, okay, now that I know what has happened, what am I going to do to still go ahead and get what I want? As simple as that, right? I accept what has happened and then focus on how am I going to come out of this situation. This is the first large part that has helped me get out of those difficult situations. And the second I would say is introspection, right? Every difficult situation is an opportunity to sit back, take a pause, see what's happening, connect to yourself, understand yourself, know who you are, see yourself as the instrument of change, and then just get back and keep moving. So these are the two broad things that I can share on that, Rash.
This is wonderful what you have just shared. But tell me here, if you feel that while the scenario or the problems that are coming is through people, there are people around you who are giving you those kind of situation, what would you do in that situation? There are many of my coaches or people coming to me, this is not me, I did not do it. I am in a situation, I'm in an environment. So how do they deal with it? I'm sorry if I'm putting in a spot. But
no, I can respond to that, because when I coach people, this is the biggest challenge that they talk about. I go through this particular challenge, and here's probably the most significant lesson that I've learned in my life. Solve problem, not people. This is the mistake that we do. We want everybody else to change for ourselves. It's not going to happen. Tell me, I have not met any single person on this planet who has been able to change the other person unless until he or she was willing to. Right? So hear this again. Solve problem, not people, because people change only when they are ready, not when you are ready. All right. When I look back at myself, I changed every time it mattered to me. This again gives me a lot of focus on myself, my life. I need to find my ways, and I'm going to get through it. I'm keeping aside few people who are, if they're draining energy, just get out of it. I'm not. That's not even a point that you should think beyond a particular time frame. Just get out of it. But there are times when you can't get out of every connect that you have. Right? Life is not that easy. There are people who are dependent upon you. There are people in your close surrounding. You just can't get out of it. But every moment when I'm trying to change somebody, I take a pause and say, solve problem, not people.
Not people.
And I focus on this is the problem. And I'll give you a quick instance what happened. So I was working with an organization, and suddenly my manager changed. So from a very empowering manager, now I had a manager who was a classic micromanager. If you guys understand a micromanager, they're very transactional. They would want to know every 2 hours what you are doing, how is it happening. They would want to give you instructions saying that, hey, this is a checklist, this is what's going to happen, non-negotiable. Almost this is what comes across. And I started to feel restless, and I had no idea what and why was this troubling me. Fortunately, that's the time I went through my first coaching experience. And I found that one of my values is autonomy or freedom. All right, freedom is not about I will fight for everybody's freedom, but for me, working independently, being autonomous is very, very powerful as a value. And I could realize that the value of freedom and micromanagement cannot go hand in hand. That's exactly where the problem was. This was the problem. The person was not a problem. I was not a problem. But that movement gave me a very important reflection, saying that just because I have a value of a freedom or autonomy, it doesn't make the other person wrong. It's about who I am. The other person values micromanagement, and he or she is right there. Why should I even put my energies to change him or her? Now, what I did is I went back, I spoke to him. I said, boss, I realized this is where it is. And we were able to actually craft out a solution where he was getting what he wanted. I was getting what I wanted. We carried on with that relationship for 2 years, and we had a tremendous work outcome or a delivery that worked out. Because I focused on solving the problem. The problem was a value mismatch. Problem was not that the person was a problem. People are never a problem. We are all who we are. We need to figure out what's that conflict, solve for that, move ahead. Nobody is going to change for me and you. That's the hardest reality, and the only reality that I've realized in life, Rashi.
Actually, this is called the bigger truth of life, the larger truth of life, which you got into. Like, it's not easy for each and every one of us, but this is what coaching is all about. That's wonderful that you could identify it It's awesome. People will go around the world and would never figure out this particular thing, what you could. So this is a kind of a wisdom which very few would, have that kind of wisdom.
Thank you.
So, and Ketan, I would, so I have taken a lot of your time. I would really want to know what is one takeaway for my viewers that you would give, all that you have learned as a speaker, as a coach, as an author, and as a profound person that I find yourself to be. So, as a mentor, so what is it that you would give out to the viewers here in terms of manifestation as well?
So manifestation, as I said, it's something that is core to me. I've given instances of how it has helped. I'll share a very significant life period, a time period that I had in my life. So after 10 years of my career, one day I lost my job. All right. It didn't deter me because I came from a good school, business school pedigree. I did work with some of the big brands and small brands. And when this happened, I thought I should not even get worried. The world will go mad and crazy when they know that I'm there in the market. Anybody is going to hire me. And with that dream, I went into the job market. And for five months, nobody hired me. That was the second significant transformation period for me. And I started to look within what happened. And I'd done some really wonderful stuff in the HR function. I could tell you, functionally, I'd grown well. Startups had taught me things that very few organizations would formally teach you. I'd done well. I had some recognition, rewards along with my team. But I started to wonder what is happening with me. Why is nobody hiring me? A core thing that I realized was that while I was growing well functionally, I was not growing as a person. That was the discovery that I had in that period, because functionally I knew, but has my thinking improved? Has my knowledge increased? Am I becoming a better person? Am I becoming a better human being, a better leader? I had spent zero time and money in the first 10 years of my career on any of these. I thought I'll just work like a horse. That's it. Sorry, that is not going to happen. Your career, your life is growing. It will grow as fast as you grow as a human being. That's like given. So I picked up the habit of reading books, and I'm glad that I continue. I'm glad that this job loss happened, right? I still read. This year I'm chasing, I'll not say chasing, yeah, but I've set a goal to read 60 books, and I'm done with about 35 already, right? So from reading one in 10 years to 16 a year, it's a huge shift. So what it is doing, it is helping me grow as a person. I started to meet and talk to people a lot, to understand different perspectives. I started to invest in myself at the core. I did not wait for my manager, for my organization, for my boss, for my parents, for the world to come up and say, hey, you should attend this program. This is going to change your life. They'll do what they believe is right. But what are you doing about yourself? Do you own up what is happening to you and what do you want in your life? So invest in yourself, grow as a human being. That is the biggest thing that I would tell to all of you. If you want to do well in your life, in your career, please invest in yourself. That 8% or 6% that you may get in FD is good financially, but how much money are you investing in yourself? How much time are you investing in yourself? I'll tell you where it has led to. Now, today, I'm proud of that. No, I've realized how powerful self-investment is. Now I get up at 5 a.m. in the morning, then I meditate, then I read for 30 minutes, then I exercise, then I journal, then I write. Those 2.5 hours are my time. And the kind of stuff I'm able to get in those 2.5 hours is phenomenal. Most importantly, every day when I get up and after these 2 hours, I get a sense that I've moved ahead. I've become better. It's something that I've learned. This is the most important message that I'll leave the audience with. You're on mute.
Oh, I'm sorry. That is simply incredible, Ketan. Simply incredible. Really worth the advices that you have given us. And of course, reading is one practice that we all know, we all understand, has given, brings a huge change in ourselves. Not only that, wisdom, knowledge, everything comes through that. And there is one more thing, if it is okay with you, since you are my mentor and you have helped me write my book. You have pulled me through, difficult times of my, those writing days. I would like to know, how did you find my book, and a small review on that.
Oh, I'm glad that I was one of the first few people to read it. Absolutely brilliant. The entire story about believing in yourself, especially the power of manifestation, thinking and bringing it together, was powerful. I think what I loved most was that it is just not about knowledge. You've left the book a lot of important questions to reflect upon after most of the larger chapters, right? I think that's where magic happened. I was able to connect to, and my understanding of manifestation became better because I just went through that book, right? There were moments where you've taken such wonderful and powerful quotes from the people who have changed the world and inspired the world, and you had a story of your own and a connect there. Absolutely brilliant, must read. This is, in fact, I keep my top 10 right in front of myself, because whenever I'm in a difficult situation, I know which one should I refer, and something connects back saying that, hey, this book actually gave me some perspective and an answer on what needs to be done. And there are about 12 of here. My top favorite always stay here. They keep on evolving and changing with time and what comes into my favorite list. But I have a list which is here.
I feel a lot of gratitude that that you have helped me write this book. If you are giving me that review, then that is gratitude from my side also. Thank you for helping me write that book.
So in fact, so this is probably the last thing that I'm going to share. I can talk a lot because I've kind of started to speak recently, but something very, very important for all of us. Now, whatever I've said, whatever Rashi has said, whatever I've written in my book or she has written in her book, or wherever she is or I am, there's one thing, and the only thing that matters is action, right? Manifestation without action is useless. Talent without action is useless. Anything without action is useless. You may feel inspired by watching that TED talk or reading a book, but if you don't act, take that one single step today, nothing will change. Nothing just changes. And it's even more important because, like the law of inertia that Newton spoke about, the law of inertia also applies to human behavior. The first step is the most difficult one. Always do your best to take that one single tiny step, and you will see yourself moving and doing things that you have never, ever imagined. I never thought I would be here in my life. I never thought I would be interviewed by a co-author, or I would have written a book. Trust me. But that one single step of deciding that day, saying that whatever is in my head, I'll keep it aside, but I am going to take that step and write the first page today, is where it all started. So take actions.
This is how you inspired me all the time, Ketan, and I can't forget it. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for coming here on this platform, not only for me, for my guests, all my viewers who are here, to have some reflection and understanding on manifestation, on understanding on how to really change their lives, to reach out to the dreams. These are the ways and means that you have provided us. I'm sure they had a wonderful, wonderful takeaways to take from here. And guys, here, let me bid adieu to my guest here, and you all do come back, check out my other videos on YouTube. That is Manifest Your Quest, the power of you. And follow, subscribe, like, keep checking out my YouTube channel. And bye-bye for now.
Thank you so much, Rashi. Thank you so much, everybody. Bye-bye.